Okay, hello everyone, welcome back. This time is me, and let me know if everything is fixed. I know we had a small bit of technical issues, but we're back now. So, we'll go straight into the team just to not waste any time. How are you, Gianni?
I'm very well, mate. It's lovely to stream with you for the first time ever on Fantasy Football Scout. We've spoken loads. You've slept around my house. You've been on my channel. I've been on yours. But we haven't ever streamed together on Scouts. This is fun. Shout out to everyone that's watching in the chat on this Sunday evening. This is going to be a regular slot. And also shout out to everyone that's listening on podcast. Sunday night has just got a little bit better because, yeah, me and Chai are here throughout the season. And I'm buzzing about the content we've got planned. But I guess today, Chai, the theme really is all about you and your team. You've been tinkering on a daily basis, I
100%,
expect.
yeah. I can't get set on one team every single day. I'm changing something, and then we have one friendly like Liverpool game today, and suddenly Jota's in your team, and then like I'm a very knee-jerk manager in preseason. I know we shouldn't be looking too much into it, but at least you can be honest with yourself.
Yeah, I don't think we should make any like. There's quite a few managers out there. Oh, reacting to pre-season like it matters. Like, if you want to react to pre-season, react to pre-season. For me, it's massive, and it's not necessarily form. Like Salah didn't score today doesn't make Jota a better asset than Salah just because he didn't score today. But it's about tactics and style and seeing new managers and minutes. Like the England lads all returning from duty. I needed to know that Trent was going to play 74 minutes. That mattered. I needed to see the other day Gordon got 45, Eze got 70 odd. Like this matters. Konza got 74. So yeah, I think it's important. And this weekend was so important because it's the final games.
Yeah, 100%. I suppose there's still a few question marks. Like with the likes of Darwin, he's only back, and whether he needs to get up to full fitness, and same with a few other
He
players.
played
Like
70 odd in that second game,
yeah,
Darwin. In that second game they played, it was 0-0, wasn't it? He didn't score though.
I don't know what to make of it because like Konate, Robertson, and Darwin played in that second game. Um,
Yeah.
but you'd assume the first game was their starting team. Um,
Yeah.
what did you make of Jota? So an absolute screamer to start the game. But I know
I
you're a
was
fan.
annoyed, man. I was annoyed, and you know this.
Yeah.
Jota was in my team, so the fact that Jota's now in everyone's team is really annoying. Really annoying. I did a poll on YouTube earlier. Something like 70% of those watching me said Jota was going to be in their game week one team. I did the same poll 3 days ago and got like 5%. So, like, genuinely, that goal because it was so good and because he's a cheaper route to Salah. And the minutes he got, he played 90, which is telling. Look, Jota could lose his place game week 2, 3, 4. But what we do know is he's going to start game week 1. And I think that's worth the punt, right?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like with the likes of Jota, does that make you want to double up against Ipswich, or is it just a singular now? Do you drop Salah, maybe allocate that money somewhere else? I know
Well,
myself. I was thinking away with a Jota and Salah draft, and it looked quite good. I have to say.
see, I've never been on Salah, so it's fine.
Oh,
Like, it
you've
was never
never
really
been
a
on
problem
Salah.
for me. No, but I do have
Okay.
Kwanzaa and Trent in my team. So I've got triple Liverpool with Jota anyway.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the United game? I had a graphic there. Let's see if I can bring it up before we go into my team. Or do you want to go straight into my team actually?
Yeah, let's go straight into your team.
Okay. Okay. We'll go
Yeah,
straight
show
into
us your
team.
team. Show us your team.
So
Come on, talk us through it.
we'll
Give it.
start
Give
from the
us
start.
top to bottom for podcast listeners as
Okay.
well. So go through it and then we'll discuss.
So between the six, we have Dean Henderson. So three at the back: Pedro Porro, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Guardiola. Five in midfield: Eze, Son, Salah, Fernandez, and Bob. And then two up top: Solanke and Isaac. You have a bench of Ward, Joe Pedro, Target. I just have him there as a filler. He's only 4 mil, and Barco.
I mean, it looked good. It looked good. I mean, the bigger we have to talk about the elephant in the room, though, don't we? Do we kick off our chat with Haaland because you built a brand, guy?
Apparently
You
so.
built
Yeah,
a brand with no
there's an
Haaland.
expectation now.
But there was a point last season where you got to world number. Well, you got to world number 2, not owning him, right?
Yeah, it was 30 game weeks without him, and I know people are sick of listening to me say it, but it's
No,
pretty cool.
mate, it's very cool, and it has to be mentioned. There'll be loads that don't know that.
Yeah,
But you then did buy Haaland, and you're not anti-Haaland by any
yeah.
stretch. This year he came in at 15 million. So you were probably thinking, I'll probably own Haaland this year. But it was the price tag that made you go, oh, actually, maybe this would be a no Haaland draft. And to be fair, half the game won't own Haaland. He'll probably be sub 50% owned, which is a good thing for the game. And you'll just be one of those 55% of managers that don't own him.
Yeah, this year is a bit different. I feel like maybe I'm after starting something and a few people are going to be behind me. But it'll be an interesting season. I don't know if I'm set in stone with going without him, but we'll see. So British87 in chat says, no Arsenal for Choi, no surprise there. So, Jenny, I want you to let me know what you think of this. So basically, a lot of people, because I'm a Spurs fan, they assume I don't have Arsenal players because of it. But on paper, I would say personally, first five anyway, the Tottenham fixtures are better than the Arsenal ones. What would you think?
Mate, I don't have any. I have double Spurs attack and I have no Arsenal. Like, I think Arsenal have got a tricky start to the season. And I can't say for the first five, but definitely the first two. Spurs have got an amazing run. Leicester away is as good as you could ask for Spurs. I think that really suits Son. Leicester are a worse team this season than they were last. They got a worse manager and they've lost their best player in Dewsbury Hall. And I think Everton at home is a great fixture. So look, Arsenal are great and they've been scoring goals pre-season. And of course, I'd love an Arsenal defender or two. But you can't have them all. And I'm okay going without Arsenal until a wild card, I think.
Yeah, I suppose my issue with the Arsenal assets is I think Saka is just as good, if not better, than Son to start with. And that's the flip of a coin for me. I've been having both Son and Saka in drafts and putting them in and out. But my issue is I'd love to know if like Havertz or Jesus were nailed. If I knew Jesus was nailed for 7 million, Arsenal striker, I'd have him in my team. I'm very high on having the number 9 for the bigger top 4, top 6 teams. They always do well regardless of who they are. So we'll see if we find out someone's going to be nailed. But as it stands, I don't fancy sticking in the Havertz if he's potentially in midfield.
I feel like today was enough for us to say he's going to be leading the line. Yeah. Like, I'd be shocked if Jesus gets a spot. Like, he started number 9 today. I don't know, man. It's your call. But if you want the number 9 for Arsenal and you've got 8 million, go by Havertz. I mean, the big difference is, as you said, is Jesus is 7, right? Like, if we knew Jesus was the number 9, that's more attractive. You save 1 million. Yeah, loads have gone Saka. Around 50% of engaged managers seem to be on Saka. Is that one you've thought about? Like, you and I don't have Saka in our team.
I'm very, very high on Saka. I don't know if I'll go Son or Saka. I think it is that little bit of Spurs in me that is making me put Son instead of Saka. But I think Saka is up there, like in terms of the big three in the entire game, like with Salah, Haaland, and Saka. Like Arsenal at this point are maybe just on the same level as City now. They've after closing the gap. So I really feel like he's their star boy, and every season he's getting better.
I mean, he is their star boy. There's no, you're right. But my problem with it, though, I don't know if you agree. Like, and guys, if you're enjoying this stream, do hit those buttons. Do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, Fantasy Football Scout. When Arsenal score, if you get an alert on your phone on a Saturday afternoon and you own Saka, do you go, oh, my guy's just scored or got an assist? You don't feel it because there's a good chance someone else has been involved and that's not named Bukayo Saka, because the spread of points at Arsenal with Odegaard and Havertz and Martinelli and Trossard and the centre-backs coming up with goals, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm 30% likely I'll be involved. If Spurs score and you own Son, you go, oh, Sonny's just got me something. You feel like you're probably 50% likely to get something. In reality, it's probably more like high 30s compared to Saka's low 30s. I don't know what it is. It's around that. But I feel like Son is a little bit more talismanic than Saka.
Yeah, I suppose in terms of finishing, 100%. But I do get what you're saying. It is definitely an interesting debate. So a player that you're really high on is Bob, and he's in my team. And I'm on the same wavelength as you. I really, really think he'll start maybe the first 2, guaranteed in my eyes anyway. Whether he gets the 3rd or 4th, I'm unsure. But especially with the Grealish injury, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's Bob's spot to lose. Bob will start, but it's more, where does Foden play when he comes back in, and where does Bernardo Silva play when they come back in? Because both can play on the right hand side. I think these two will get a lot more central minutes, and I think if Bob keeps playing well, he'll keep his spot. Like, he was electric in the Community Shield, but he's been electric all pre-season. Bob definitely starts game week 1, and if he plays well, a bit like Jota, we know he'll start game week 1, but he's got to keep playing well to start the following games because there's so much depth behind him. So I'm with you. Like, I think Bob's worth the punt. And look, for most, he's going to be listed as an 8th attacker. And if
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
listed as an 8th attacker, it's fine. It's fine if he doesn't play.
Yeah, that's
He's
what
5
Brian has
million.
said. Brian said, I like Bob, but he's definitely a transfer out, and I'd agree. But, like, for example, the way my team is set up here, you have João Pedro on the bench, and that's for when Bob starts getting benched. And I feel like there is an unknown with Bob. There might be, like, certain parts of
Yeah.
the season where he's utilised way more. So I might want to hold on to him. But, yeah, I suppose it
Yeah.
depends on the chip strategy.
It depends on the chip strategy. It depends on your risk appetite. And guys, we do get a transfer every week. Like, transfers out waiting to happen aren't all bad transfers game week 1. If you see instant rewards in the first few game weeks and you go, I want to play Bob versus Ipswich at home, where I think City could win 4-0 and Bob could get 2 returns. The fact he's a transfer out waiting to happen in game week 3 or 4 doesn't matter. He's just got you a couple of returns. Like, it's a bit like Jota. I was happy to punt Kulu in before the Solanke signing because I don't mind transfers out waiting to happen if they get you points right away. And these guys, I think, can. And the City's always high with City. The ceiling's always high with City. And Bob's a good pick. But look, Chai, talk to me about your defence. Let's just go through this defence because this is a lot of money in the back three.
Yeah, yeah. So
it really is. Now, it's a no Haaland draft, so you can afford it.
So I suppose we'll start when Solanke does eventually get that transfer in the game, it will be triple Spurs. And that's why I think I might change Son to Saka, because 2 is enough for me. Having 3 is a stretch, I feel.
Right.
Especially when you don't know how we're going to start the season. I feel like we'll start well, but again, you can't. It won't be a certainty. And like Saka will do the job after a certain amount of games. But yeah, so we'll start with Pedro Porro, I suppose. For me, after seeing preseason with us, and again, I don't take preseason into account too much, but when you consider last season as well, he's like the highest amount of shots for a defender in the whole league, I'm fairly sure. And then he's coming up in positions like inverted and on the outside of fullbacks, swinging in balls in the 6-yard box. I just feel like for 5.5 with Leicester and Everton at home, really, really good fixtures. And he could definitely get a return in either of those games. So I don't feel like the Tottenham defence is going to be good by any means, but it should definitely be better than last season.
Yeah. My approach, every time I watch Spurs pre-season, it feels like Postecoglou doesn't care about conceding goals. It's literally just you score 3, we'll score 4. And even in pre-season, they went to like Korea and lost and won 4-3 against some randoms. Like, Spurs just want to outscore teams. And for me, in FPL, that's brilliant. All we care about in FPL, when we're buying attacking players, is goals and assists. That's our currency, right? So even Porro feels like a midfielder. And he's playing like a midfielder. 2 goals in pre-season from 300 odd minutes. You're going to get loads of attacking returns from Porro. And yeah, you'll luck out on some clean sheets too. So not a bad buy at 5.5 by any stretch. Gvardiol, you know what you're getting. And Trent was obviously brilliant again today. Let's just talk about goalkeepers before we move to more midfield and forward conversations. You've spent a ton on your back 3, but you've gone budget in goal with a 4.5 and a 4. Have you considered 4.5 rotatings, or are you set on just one set and forget 4.5?
Yeah, goalkeeper for me has been the most difficult thing throughout all of these drafts. I haven't a clue in terms of I haven't been on anyone that I felt comfortable with. So that's why I think I've just defaulted to Henderson, because he's going to start. Well, I feel like now we can confirm that. Yeah, and I feel like towards the back end of the last season, he was very, very good. Not him specifically, but Ollie Glasner's Palace. So
yeah, he won
4.5 out of all the 4.5s, he's probably the most nailed, and he doesn't play for a bad team with good underlying numbers. So happy to start with him. I have tinkered with the idea of having 2 4.5s, but that can be a nightmare.
See, Henderson and Sells, and again, Sells we might not rate as a keeper, but he's going to start the season for Forest. Sells and Henderson rotate so well that the first 10 game weeks, you'd get 9 good home fixtures. But it's an extra 0.5. And I've gone, I need that 0.5. Unless my big debate is Gordon or Eze. If I go Eze, I get 2 4.5 keepers. If I go Gordon, I just get 1. That's what my draft comes down to. And we all have that battle in our heads over certain positions. I'm with you, though. I think Hendo 4.5 is the best option if you're just picking 1. Talk to me about Eze, though, because you don't have Anthony Gordon, for example. You could maybe find the 0.5. Do you rate Eze as a better pick than Gordon? They're both similar in terms of ownership, around that sort of mid-30s point, I think.
I would say I think Eze is a better asset. zero point 0.5 million less and on penalties and free kicks. Talisman for Crystal Palace. I suppose we don't know how good Crystal Palace are going to be this season. They're definitely,
Yeah.
like, I'm optimistic about them, and only because what we've seen last season, and their manager has been great. But if Mateta comes back and he's been on any bit of form like he was last season, Palace could be doing very, very well. And usually if they score goals, Eze is a large part of it. So I'm very, very happy to start the season with him, and he's been in every single one of my drafts.
Yeah, okay. No, I hear you there. Bruno, this is a player that might not make to the end of the week for you. You really want him in,
I really
but
do.
if you need that kind of that make weight somewhere, he might be the one that drops out. But you're hot on Bruno, aren't you?
Yeah, I suppose as a person, I can't say I'm his biggest fan, but as a player, I have to say he's maybe just one tier underneath world class. I would say he's that good. And he doesn't exactly play in the best attacking team in the league, so he's a large part of anything United usually do. And I think we saw how good he was in the Community Shield yesterday. So he scored a screamer, it was offside, but yeah. So penalties and free kicks, and I feel like Bruno's a really consistent player over the season. 8.5 I feel is fair price for him. So and also he starts that first game this season on a Friday, so I want to have someone on that day.
Yes, of course, you're going to be at Fantasy Football Fest with me, Focal, FPL Harry, loads of the Scout family, Sam and Aswin, Mark will all be there. If you are around, by the way, ff.fest, come see us in London. There's tickets still available, and join for that Friday night game and some on-stage content too. The midfield looks amazing, man. It's the midfield of dreams.
Yeah.
And I think it's the back line of dreams. Like the goalkeeper and the front line, that's the debate, I guess, of this team. And arguably, some of your bench options. But the template front three is definitely set. Like it's going to be Haaland, Isak, Solanke. So whilst we can talk about you not having Haaland, you still got two. You still got two of the three. It's not bad, is it? Like Isak and Solanke, do they feel locked for you?
Yeah, I feel like you don't need to speak a lot about Isak. He's just been in everyone's team. But Solanke, I don't know. My only issue with Solanke is that there's no other strikers underneath him that I want. Like, who do you have? You have 7.5 Tony. You have Armstrong. You have Jesus. Like, they're not great options. And I do want Tottenham's number 9. My only issue is if he gets the first game of the season. Which I think it is likely now after seeing the quotes. But then again, I feel like there is that small chance because Kulusevski has been so good in pre-season. But yeah, I'm not sure, but I would like to have him, and if not, I could just bench him for the first week for João Pedro.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Brennan feels like a real risk as a Kulu now with Solanke's addition. In terms of Postecoglou's comments about Solanke starting, like, what do you make of them? And because Spurs don't play till the Monday night, give Solanke a few more days. Do you see Solanke? You know how Postecoglou brought in Van der Ven straight away into the 11. Do you see Solanke starting?
No, I do, yeah. And I thought about it more. It's just whether I see Maddison getting benched or not. He hasn't been great in pre-season, in my opinion. And Kulusevski can definitely play the Maddison position, especially when you want a lot more people on the ball. I feel like Kulusevski could be great, and he's a workhorse as well. So it could be Kulusevski in the 10, Solanke up top, and I feel like Solanke might be a striker where he doesn't need too much for the system because get in the box, try be a target man, and so hopefully he starts the first game if I go with him.
Who do you think will be on pens? We've got questions in the chat. I've been pretty hot on this on Twitter of saying, of course, it will be Son. You know Spurs better than I do.
I think
Son keeps pens?
Our captain, yeah. If he wasn't the captain, maybe not, but I feel like because he's our captain and he's been on him last season, I feel like he'll definitely take him this season. I would be surprised if Solanke took him.
Chai, when we look at your team, let's forget the bench. I don't even think bench is worth talking about. Like, I'm sure Target's not going to be your 4 million defender, and João Pedro could come in and out, whatever. If you were to put a number from your starting 11, how many do you reckon make it through to the Friday deadline? You don't need to go through one by one, but just loosely, do you reckon you're 8, 9 picks, 10 picks, 7 picks? Like, how locked do you feel in terms of a number?
I would say 7. But the
Yeah.
reason being, if you change one, a lot changes. You know what I mean? It opens up a
Yeah.
lot of doors.
Do you think no Haaland's like what's the percentage chance Haaland comes into your team? 10% likely or like 50
Oh
50?
no, I'd say it's higher. I'd say maybe 35%. Like,
35% likely he comes in. So
yeah,
you're still, you're 65% likely
there
to
is
go
a
without
lot
him. Yeah,
of
okay.
really really good Haaland drafts. I just can't see myself going without Salah. Just we're after seeing through seasons how consistent he is, and I know it's a turnover, but they look like they're the exact same and a new beast, honestly.
Yeah, so for you, you think it'll be one or the other. I mean, that's the battle I've had. Like every time I've made a Haaland Salah draft combined, I've not been happy with it. I can't find that balance of accommodating both. And I'm guessing you can't either. Like for you, if you go Haaland, then it would mean dropping Salah out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I try to the way I try to weigh it up is what am I giving up to try get Haaland in? Is it a Trent and a Bruno? Is it a Bob and a Son? You know what I mean? How does it weigh out?
Right.
And for me, I just feel like you can get way better value for 15 million. Again, I could be completely wrong. Haaland could get 3 hat tricks in the first 4 games. Um, but yeah, I think I'm content about going without.
Nice. Mate, that has been awesome getting an insight into your team. I'm buzzing about us doing this as a regular Sunday night feature. If you're just joining, go back and watch the last 20 minutes. You won't regret it. Do hit those buttons, like and subscribe. Chai, where can you find FPL Chai? Where's the best place to find you if you're like, oh, who's this guy? I want to check his own content out.
FPL Choi on YouTube, Choi_FPL on Twitter. Again, apologies for any technical issues we had. Next Sunday we will be here, and it should be a bit better on my side anyway. So I hope to see you all again. Before you leave, hit the like button, and thank you everyone for joining us.
Chai, does that mean that the Twitter handle on screen is not yours? Because you said Chai FPL, and
That's right,
mine isn't mine either. Both our handles are a load of rubbish.
it
But
looks
guys,
better.
you can find. Yeah, like to be fair, you should change yours.
Oh,
Or someone got it. Guys, you can also find me on YouTube at Gianni Battici. Daily content planned for preseason. Scout, I've got a wealth of stuff coming out. Scoutcast in the week, loads of stuff. And if you haven't already done so, go check out the Scout members area for a 40% off discount preseason deal. I've been a member for years. Honestly, it's the best resource. Guys, we're going to love you and leave you. We'll see you very, very soon. Next Sunday, the two of us will be back. This is a permanent fixture. But for now, he's been